back to my channel. My name is Marianne Allen. If you're new here, welcome. I relocated from the US to Ghana to transition and then moved to Liberia, where I'm originally from. And I'm covering my transitional process and my move back to Liberia. So this is going to be a long journey. I hope you stick around and like the video and subscribe. Today in this video, I will be talking about banking systems and how we got screwed over by Capital One. So if you've been around for a little bit, when we first started to visit Africa or transition, I did mention that we had issues with our bank accounts and cards being used in Liberia and Ghana. The Ghana accepts, there are many places that accept debit cards, Visa, MasterCard. Like the digital system here is a lot more used than in Liberia. But the only card that would work for us in Liberia and in Ghana was our Capital One card. So we had to like transfer money from our other accounts, and at the time we barely even used Capital One. So we had to always transfer money into Capital One account so that we would be able to use the card or even like use it at the ATM. So a lot of the other cards weren't working. So then when we went back to the US, we decided, well, let's just make Capital One our primary account, since that's the only thing that works for us. We can swap it in store, like when I go to the grocery store, I don't have to take money out. I can just use my card. And then also, then ATM, I can use it at the ATM. And then pretty much like restaurants and stuff, you can use your card. So that's kind of what I got comfortable to doing. So then we made Capital One our primary account and transfer all of our funds there, and kind of just did like savings, checking, and I even got transfer Kiki's account to Capital One, and all of that because we could use it, and everything had been going great. Like we pretty much use our card like if we were to use it in the US. If we needed some cash, or if we're going to the market, we just take money out of the ATM. Whenever you take money out of the ATM, they give you the money in the local currency, which is Ghana cedis. And so I either do that to make other purchases that maybe wouldn't necessarily accept a card, or I just mobile money or use SendWave to send the maid some money, or the guy that drives us around and stuff. So that's kind of what we've been doing, and there have not been any issues. But last week, we decided to go to Accra and just hang out. I went to get my hair done, and we went to the spa and to do some little self-care things around Accra. Before we left, we went to the ATM and took out the equivalent of like $100, okay? But then when we got to Accra, I purchased a lot of stuff because I don't go there so often. So we kind of ran out of money. So then I'm thinking, I'm at the salon getting my hair done. So Rich goes to the spa to do a pedicure, and I know they accept cards because we've used our cards there before. So I say to him, just use your card, and then I'll use the cash because the salon did not accept cards. So I would use the cash that I had. So he's at the salon, he's at the spa, and then he sends me this screenshot that says he doesn't have access to the account. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So he calls me and he's like, what's going on? I tried to log into the account and do some transfers, and it's saying that I don't have access to the funds anymore. And I'm like, that's strange. Hold on, let me log in. So then I log in and I'm like, yeah, it's saying the same thing to me. What's going on? So then I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. First of all, I need to call them. But in the meantime, do I have enough money to cover our bills, like his and mine? But then I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's just, one of those security holds where they have to do verification and then they open the account again. That's kind of what I thought. I called Capital One. They kind of made it seem like I was laundering money or something. But the lady I spoke with was very stern or firm, and would just ask me like short questions. And then I'm like, but she didn't ask me any kind of verification question like, okay, verify this amount, verify this purchase, kind of the normal thing that they would do. I didn't get any of those questions. So I'm thinking to myself, what is this about, And then she says, Capital One has made the decision to end banking relationships with you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, they made that decision, and there's nothing that can be done about it. So we're just gonna cash out all of the funds in the account and send a check to your mailing address on file. And I'm like, hold up. I'm like, okay, why? She can't say why. She's just repeating herself, like they've just decided to end banking relationships with you, and it's the address on file, your current address, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking to myself, is this about some fraud? Is this about some fraud alert? Is there something that I need to do? But she's not going that route. She's just like, so I'm thinking, but why are they ending it? Oh, they can. They can choose to do that if they want. And I'm like, after we just made them our primary banking system, we've transferred all of our funds to them. And now this. So I'm like, so how do I get access to my money? I'm not in the US. I'm out of the country. And that is the only way we've been able to access our funds is through our bank cards, and now they don't work. We can't transfer money from the bank account to another institution that we bank with in the US. You're pretty much freezing our funds, and you're leaving us stranded, and without any reason, without any good reason. So she goes, yeah, after the investigation, so I'm like, what investigation? She was just weird. So then I told her, I'm currently at a salon, like we're out, we have bills to pay, and we don't have enough money on us to cover our bill. And we were hoping to use our card. So we are pretty much stranded. Like, how do we get, I was panicking, I was really panicking. So then she says, you can go, okay, so what we can do, because we don't want to leave you stranded, so we can temporarily lift the restriction so that you go to an ATM to withdraw money to cover your bills, and then we'll put the restriction back. But when you get to the ATM, call us back and we will give you further instructions. And I'm like, are you serious? So I'm like, okay, I'm just glad they're doing that. So I get to the ATM, I stop to Rich, I pay his bill, because he was already done. I paid his bill with the cash that I had. And so I'm thinking because the salon I did my hair at is a Liberian-owned salon, so I was like, okay, I know the girl. If I don't have cash, I'll just tell her I'll send her the money later. So I go to the ATM and I call them, and another person answers the phone. So I'm talking to this lady. I'm explaining to her what the previous person told me, and I'm trying to understand what's going on. And then she started to ask me some questions that made sense. She said, where are you currently? I said, I'm in Ghana. She said, is your current address Indiana in the US? I said, yes. And then she said, do you guys use VPN when you're in the US? I said, well, my husband does for work, and he's currently using VPN in the house for work. And then she asked, is he the only person that has access to the account? I said, yes. And then she said, which city is the VPN connected to? And I said, New York, because that's the only place the VPN would connect to. So she said, oh yeah, so then that makes a lot of sense. So I'm like, oh, so maybe it's because of the VPN, but I mean, the questions that she was asking made sense at the moment. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's, but the previous lady just did not ask me any questions and just said, we're freezing your money and we're sending you a check in the mail. And we don't have any plans going back to the US. So we're thinking to ourselves, we're here out of money. We don't have physical cash with us. And our money would be laying down in some kind of check in the US. So, fast forward, they had already made that decision that they were going to block the access. So even with the questions that she was asking and getting the information, at that moment there was nothing they could do except to give me access to my funds, to remove whatever the ATM could give me. That's pretty much what they left us with. Whatever the ATM could give us at the moment. And so what we gathered, we weren't told it was because of that, but because of the questions that they were asking, I have been using, so the VPN in the house is connected to our router. So whenever any device is logged to that Wi-Fi, it just automatically places you in the US, okay? And then we have another Wi-Fi, we have another router that is more local. So if you log in with that Wi-Fi, you would have a local address. But the day prior, a day or two before, I needed to send some funds to a friend of mine, and I just couldn't get it to work. You know, so I was like logging into the account on my desktop. I was logging into the account on my cell phone. I was just logging into the account using different, because I'm thinking, is it the VPN? Is it not the VPN? So, and apparently, with all the logins, you can't be in 3 different places at the same time. You can't be in 3 different places at the same time. So because of that, they blocked the account. But even with that, I would think that it would be some form of, hey, is it you? You know, like, is it you? Can you verify you? So that, I mean, we can hold things until you can provide some form of verification that the transactions that are going through is from you. And then we will let things know, but they didn't even do that. They just decided, this looks fishy, and we're shutting you down. Poor Kiki account got blocked too, and she wanted to use her money. She's planning to go back to the US for a vacation, and she doesn't have access to her account. So what we found out, my personal account, our joint account, and all of that got blocked. So, but then the following day, Rich went to try to access his personal account, because it's with Capital One as well, and he got access to it. So then he's like, I don't have access to the joint account, but I have access to my personal account. So then maybe it's whatever Marian's name is attached to, which is pretty much what it was. Every account that my name was connected to got blocked. The funds in that account got frozen assets, I swear. So poor Kiki, my name was attached to her account. It got frozen. So the joint savings, everything got frozen, and stranded, and left stranded. The only good thing about it is we don't have major expenses in Ghana. and at the beginning of the month when we pay our bills and stuff, we're pretty much good. So we're good until the end of the month, and then we're gonna redirect our funds to another account that we can then use the cards for those accounts. But we don't even know if those cards will work because we had struggled with those before. So we need to figure out how to get access to our money going forward. And I was so stressed out, so stressed out. But we were able to at least make sense of it. And so apparently Capital One does not do well with VPNs. To them, it's almost like some fraudster is trying to trick them. And I had no idea. So Rich had noticed that before, like every time the VPN is on and he tries to log in, it will send him all these verification steps. But then when it's not connected to the VPN, it just takes him in smoothly. So then he just turns the VPN off with Capital One. I did not know. So your sister here was logging into both phones, the iPhone, the Samsung, the computer, the everything. I was logging into it. Even my tablet, I was logging into the account. And apparently they were all connected to different spots. Ghana, New York, and then my address is Indiana, and it just threw everything up. But that's it. Assets frozen because old girl here messed it up. I screwed it up. So we need to figure out what kind of bank to bank with that would give us access to our funds in Africa. If you have used banks that work easily in Africa, please let us know. We haven't banked with Chase or what's the other one? Bank of America before, but we're not sure if they work well in Africa. So let us know if you've used them in Africa, and we can try them out. So thanks for watching. I will catch you in another video. Bye-bye.